So there's this audio circulating around with a letter from the KMC apparently informing the market vendors in Serrekunda and within the KMC that their rents, the rents for their stalls will be increased, to $1,000. I believe they were paying like 750 or something. So they have been circulating this, and what I see from this is they try to politicize this. Okay, this is such an important thing that we cannot afford to politicize this. I do not care which political party you belong to when it comes to matters of national interest, economic laws, and all that. You cannot politicize those things. It is about taxpayers. Okay, so we cannot politicize it. When you said you are feeling the pain, we have to listen to you. But when we have facts, we also have to look at the facts. Especially when your leaders are in a position that they are not incompetent per se, but they are like incapable because of certain constraints that they cannot deal with. For example, if you look at the KMC, there is a lot of revenue source within the KMC as far as tax is concerned that the KMC are not able to collect. The council is not able to collect. It's being collected by the central government. I have talked about this in one of my videos earlier on last week. One of the examples is the car park rates that the government has been collecting, and the billboards and all that. So there are a lot of things, and also that the fact that they are not benefiting properly from, let me say, equally from the government levied tax on imported fuels into the country. So if you put all those factors together, you look at it from a holistic point of view, you add the fact that there has been a lot of inflation in the country. Inflation has been a problem in the Gambia. Of course, globally, but more specifically in the Gambia, we have seen the dalasi on the decline for the longest period of time. In fact, the only thing steady about the dalasi is the depreciation of the dalasi. So what is worth 750 2-3 years ago is not worth 750 today. So it only makes sense that yes, it will go, things will increase a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. As a UDP supporter, I don't think it is a good idea, because they're gonna say, like, we all know what Barrow is doing right now, right? He's increasing, everything is increasing in that country, and as far as we know, he's the president. He's the one who needs to put a handbrake on it, on that exponential rise of goods and commodities within the country, and also services. Okay, so we don't want to follow Barrow. So I wouldn't advise any elected member of UDP serving anywhere within the country to come up with price hikes. When you have to do price hikes, it has to be a very, very strategic and measured one, because you need to engage these vendors, talk to them, and let them understand what is going on. But you see, they politicize this in a way that it can be very dangerous, because I heard this guy speaking, and if you have the patience, I'll play the audio here. The audio is available. I'll be playing it here during the course of this discussion. The guy said he's literally saying that they are going to go to the KMC to engage them actually about this matter. But what I'm thinking is, if you have been, because I personally have information about this, that it is coming about 3 to 4 weeks ago. So if you had something like this and you are in a market, and I know the KMC have notified these people, because the increment has not just taken effect today. Okay, they have given them a notice. So once you have a notice, or at least you suspect something is coming, you have been informed verbally or written or otherwise, why not go to the KMC and talk with your officials? If you don't believe that you can talk to the mayor per se, the KMC is not about a mayor. The KMC is a composition of the council is composition. The council composed of elected councillors, and all these councillors come from different wards. So you could have gone to your local councillor, or you even can just go and rally behind, let's say, the councillor that is in, let's say, serrekunda ward, in one of the serrekunda wards where the market is located. Okay, you can go to him and tell him, look, there is a lot of people here in this market that are going to be affected by this. This is going to directly affect our life and livelihoods. So we want you and your council to consider this matter. Okay, so but if it happens that the only time that you show willingness to engage is when the notice is served that there will be increment, I don't see the honesty, to be very frank with you, and I don't want to be. I don't even want to sound unfair to these vendors. I understand their pain. I understand their anger, and I'm even also concerned about the consumers in this regard, because what can happen here potentially is some of these vendors can just increase the price of their commodities just because of this increment. So that's why this is a very, very important national issue that I personally I cannot even afford to think, try to politicize this or entertain someone who tries to politicize this. It is above and beyond that. This is about the ordinary Gambians. This is going to affect life and livelihood in the Gambia. This is about living in the Gambia. This is about life in the Gambia. Okay, so we need to talk about this, not as a UDP, not as an NPP, not as a DOI or anything. We have to talk about this genuinely. Okay, so I understand that increments can be uncomfortable, and sometimes, you know, people like to sensationalize things. But I want you to, no matter how you look at it, I just want you to reflect on some of the points that I've mentioned to you. The taxes that the government is collecting within the KMC that should actually be going to the coffers of the KMC, the council, but instead it's going to the central government. For example, the fuel, they are collecting like $3 per liter, and they are giving the council like 25 bututs, taransu. Okay, I have actually made a video on this. So if you look at it from that point of view, and also the inflation that is going on in the country, the inflation. So 750 before 2-3 years ago cannot be worth $750 today because of the inflation. And again, I like I said, any kind of increment should be very strategic and very well calculated and measured, because otherwise it can backfire very, very seriously politically for the United Democratic Party, because the KMC belongs to us as a political seat of the council. We control it. So of course, as a member of the party, you know, I also have that interest. But as a Gambian citizen, this is a matter of concern. So for those of you who are affected by things like this, do not think that because the leader is a UDP and this is a UDP thing. No. Consider the fact that the global economy, the way it is right now, the way that the inflation is going. In fact, Gambia has suffered more from inflation than many countries in the world. Why? Because before this mass inflation started, you know, before this global inflation started, the Gambia's economy was already on the drain, going down the drain. Because simply, it is very simple. We do not produce anything in that country. We don't produce nothing in the Gambia. We are just exporting. We are just importing. We don't export nothing. The only things that we export could potentially be some, I don't know, things that go without the notice of the government. But as far as I know, Gambia does not have like a steady export of any commodity or good. So we are depending on mostly things that we import from other countries. And logically, it only makes sense that prices will be higher in the Gambia. The value of the dalasi will go down significantly, uncontrollably. And that is the reality in the Gambia. So the council, you need to understand, when they serve you, you say, the council is doing good. But the council is not just because it is occupied by well-intentioned and well-meaning politicians. It is also because these people are people who collect revenue. Whatever service or, development project they brought to you, it is because they collect revenues. So if they don't have those revenues, they will not be able to do anything for you. And with their sources of revenue, unfortunately, it is us, the same people, that they bring development projects to. We are the same people that they have to collect these revenues from. The revenues will not come from the sky. We are the ones who have to contribute to this. So I hope some of these people who think this is a political matter will realize that this is not, in fact, a political matter. All of us are Gambians. You are a Gambian. Go to your elected official. Go to your elected councillor within the ward. Talk to them. Engage them. Before you go around telling people that, these people are interested in business, blah, blah. It's not about that. The United Democratic Party stands for the poor people. We are mostly poor people. We are not known for being part of the bureaucratic, Gambian society or the so-called elites. How many people from, those so-called elites are part of the United Democratic Party? They don't even see themselves as, one of us. In fact, one of the fights that we are fighting right now is those elites. Most of them, especially those within the government and in the business industry, do not want to see a United Democratic Party government. So we stand for the poor people. We are a party that is embraced and supported by the poor people. So if you are circulating images like this, letters like this, trying to make it look like this is not what UDP is going to do to you. We have no choice. Remember, no matter how powerful you think the council is, the council cannot be powerful to the extent of being even more powerful than the central government. So I hope you see it from that point of view. And again, as I believe if things like this have to happen, it has to be very strategic, very well calculated, and you have to make sure that there is no disconnection between your intention and the result and the impact that is going to have on people. Like I said, most of these people, they can just very well, they can just start to increase the price of their goods just because of this. You know, they will start to say, well, luas bisa devayoka, you know, and they increase their prices. You don't want to see something like that if you are a Gambian, if you live in Serrekunda or anywhere within the KMC, right? So that's how I want you to. I'm not saying that you do not have a right to vent, complain, or even criticize, but I think we need to do it genuinely, honestly, and we need to look at it from the holistic point of view, like the economy. The KMC elected officials are not in control of the Gambia's economy. They do not have an impact as to how much the dalasi will be valued or devalued in the next 5-6 days to come. They have no idea. They are just like you and I. They have their vouchers, they have their receipts, they have their checks. When they need to make withdrawals, they make withdrawals. They want to buy. They only do this within the confines of within the dictates of the government stipulated monetary policies. Within the dictates of the government dictated monetary policies. They are not able to pass any kind of monetary policies. So if the dalasi is depreciating or has depreciated, your local government may not be able to do a lot about that. And again, why not we all rise up together and fight against the government council, the government, for example, collecting revenues within the KMC, like the car park rates and other rates as well. I cannot even itemize all of them. The amount of tax revenue that is being collected within all these municipal councils. Right now, we are focused on KMC because that's where this matter came up from. But we have to understand, you have to understand that the central government is collecting revenues from all councils, from all within all councils, revenues that could have otherwise been diverted, and legally so, to the municipal council, coffers. But instead, they are going to the central government. So those are some of the things that we need to consider before we shift blame. And again, I will have to admit, as a United Democratic Party member, I will not advise any one of these people to make an increment like this, because it is what Barrow is doing right now. Rise in taxes, livelihood is going, living expenditure is going up. So we don't want to follow his trend. In fact, what we should do as an opposition party is to make sure that we maximize our revenues. For example, if we have to look at where we are collecting the revenues from the compound rates, for example. We have to make sure that every single one of them is paying. Everywhere in the Gambia, you have that problem. People are not paying their compound rates like normally because councils are just not reaching out sufficiently. That's a fact. That is a fact. We need to go into areas like that. We need to explore those areas so that we can be able to cover, things like this that can actually trigger some of these people coming out trying to politicize, policies. And I know, just like central government, sometimes you struggle to find to bind your intention with the reality on the ground, or the results, or the outcome of what the policy is. But yeah, I want people to understand that very well, that yes, this may not look good if you are the receiving end. For example, if you live in the KMC area and you realize that you have to pay a little bit more. But you also need to understand that what you were paying, like for example 750, is not the same. It's not worth the same as it used to be. But I also feel and understand your pain, and I think you need to be listened to. So before you go and take to social media, politicize, antagonize your elected officials, try to shame them or anything, engage them. That's the most important thing. Look at this guy circulating everything like this. The audios are circulating. They are circulating the audio. They are circulating the memo, notifying them of the increment. But what they are not doing right now is engagement. They need to be engaging those people. That's how we do things. For example, I can tell you that I have a lot of things that I want to publish, things that I have investigated within the country, and I have proof, even evidence, prima facie evidence of certain things. But I cannot do it because you know what? You need to consult the other party. You ask them. When you have your evidence, you go and ask the other people, the other party that is involved, and you wait for their reaction. So before you just go and publicize these documents on WhatsApp, they are circulating. Everything that goes on in WhatsApp almost goes viral in the Gambia. So before you do that, I will encourage you to go and engage your local government officials. So here is the audio for we can listen to the audio, and then let's listen to the audio together. Where is my mouse?
One Gambia, one people, one nation. Nalbe kontona, atona kontona. Assalamu alaikum. Forimo kankilin, nalbe kontona, altona kontona. Yobi nata kakibaro futani jan. Momo me yalonko be forimo dawoda katon to koina. Right now, money happen KMC. Bakau market ani serrekunda market. Talib Bensouda kunu ay kibaro futani marché kol kantin mi yalon ko ka jo 350 sa samba wuli kilin $1,000. So right now bina in kaido na sen formo dawada mole yaje jani ibe kumo fintini folo yesedo fintiti so bina kana kaido sen ni formo dawada mole kaido jibe yesede andi tonyale kantino mi yalon ko biri yankuma koli la wato biri yankuma koli nyol nata KMC aka kantino nyini $90 biri a bondi 90 a samba 250 biri a bondi 250 a samba 350 bari 22 years ya jame yankuma koli ani lay ko de nyol be maradin KMC bari ala joro man tambi keme sabatalul say talbe Bensouda nata aya taraje kantino aka jo keme sabatalul aya bondi keme sabatalul aya samba 750 hani wofana ako amandia ay samana sa wuli kele sa mina kaydo sen ni formol dawada moli seriande to yale nga ko mo to yale but right now munena lodla marché kol right now kudu miteo keta Bakau marché ani serrekunda market sa en market in yong right now bi fanane nga miteno ke mina me futa talibe ya nga itandiko la faro me ya ko ila fa aya bondi nin talibe manson marché kolbe be siring mol buka yele nyeba firla kantini wa firla place wa firla ni femme se wa firla yalon ko karala dawada marché de wol KMC mo clean buka la place o yele mol be sidam strike mol be kara siri sokono buka yele so ngaji be talbe aba jikan wala marché kolbe jikan de talbe inata business wala karo bari jang ikebe jikiring mol mi yalon ke be wafir ko marché ko o nyamato man taraje mol meta diamol inata business wala imanna do kolde yo faru na kaydo sen ni formo mol be a sede andi to nyale ina kaydo sen.
You see, so Alakaito Babule, he has the document. This is the document that he has been circulating around in WhatsApp. They have been sharing it in almost all the forums. So now you see, he's threatening to he's threatening that they will go on a strike. Can you imagine? And that can have an impact on the people, on the ordinary people. And the problem is the Gambian consumer, unfortunately, this is not funny. I don't know if I should be laughing, but the Gambian consumer cannot actually do these kind of boycotts. Because I have seen an instance wherein fish vendors in a certain country in North Africa, I believe, were exponentially, or let me say unnecessarily, increasing the price of their fishes. So what the consumers did was they went on a strike called Let It Rot. Yeah, they said let it rot. Let their fish go rotten. We are not buying it because of the price. They increase the price exponentially. So in Gambia, consumers, unfortunately, we don't do this. The consumers have always been on the receiving end of protests. As long as the distribution of goods and services in the market area is concerned, it is those who control the markets who will say, oh yeah, we are protesting. But the consumers, we don't. And if they do, they're gonna win all the time. Because what? We don't do the counter. And this is also a very important aspect. Okay? But all in all, you need to discourage this kind of form of actions by doing what? By engaging them. Okay? But it is also going to be very difficult. Like I said, it is important to engage them. But if this is motivated and inspired by NPP, you think you are going to be able to tell anything to this guy that is going to stop him? So that's why it's very important that we don't politicize issues like this. At the end of the day, this guy might not even suffer because he has I think he may be a stall owner in the market or something, the way he's speaking. But the ordinary consumer, any day he decided he's going to close his stall and all his colleagues close their stalls along with him, there will be some, issues in the market. People will not be able to cook their lunches, breakfast, and dinners. That's just the fact. So it is NPP again, and for NPP, I think we need to understand. We need to tell each other the truth. We as UDP, I don't even care who is the elected official of UDP. I will tell them the truth when it is necessary. But you need to be careful with politicizing issues like this. When it comes to the consumers, we are talking about ordinary Gambians, some of whom are not even like interested in politics or any political party, one or the other. They just want to go about their business, be able to put food on the table and eat together with their families. That's all they want. They want to provide for their families and move on with their daily lives. So, but if you are very politically active to the extent that you think you can politicize almost everything, you can even make, you can even start to politicize the, what is it called? The most unnecessary things. And this is a very important area of, our livelihood. You cannot just go and you cannot just try to politicize our market, the selling, distribution of goods and services within our market. You cannot do that. You are going to affect everybody. When there is shortage of goods in the market, it is not just going to be UDP who will be affected. It is not just going to be the NPP who will be affected. So, but what we can all preclude that from happening by having a dialogue. You can have a dialogue. So I encourage these people to take that, what is it called? To take that path. If I can put a handbrake on this and reverse it, I will. But I cannot. But it doesn't mean that those who did it are not well intentioned. You just have to talk to them, engage them, and when you are sincere and genuine in your dialogue and engagement with them, at the end of the day, you can have something. You may walk away from that dialogue, with a smiling face. So this is where I want to end this video. Obviously, this is a very long one. I have not been doing what's like that. I actually wanted to do a live video, but yeah, there is a football match upcoming, so unfortunately. So thank you, and we're gonna catch up here again another time. Thank you.